Robert Saleh starting off by saying that the Jets fear a torn Achilles, and they expect that tomorrow an MRI will confirm that. And if that's the case, Aaron Rodgers will be done for the season. And guys, I just look back and think back as a Jets fan on 1999. I mean, that's all you can think about right now. Jets going in, Super Bowl expectations. Second quarter, Vinny Testaverde ruptures his Achilles against the Patriots, and everything changes. Today, Aaron Rodgers didn't even get to the second quarter.
Yeah, it was disheartening to say the least. I think when we started the game, man, you talk about this building, the MetLife that is just being on fire. I mean, Christ's sakes, Steve, you got a call from your dad. He couldn't believe Aaron Rodgers was actually wearing a New York Jets jersey. I think a lot of people in attendance couldn't believe Aaron Rodgers was wearing a Jet jersey. But what we saw was indicative to what we talked about not too long ago. With everything that happened and the life and the deflation of this organization, the team as a whole, this young core group, Quentin Williams, you talk about Sauce Gardner, you talk about DJ Reed, you talk about Breece Hall, you talk about Mekhi Becton, all this young core that these Jets have really put their future on rose up. And that was promising to see. You talk about Saleh, he doesn't get enough credit because sometimes he gets labeled as too nice of a coach. One thing he did today was show these guys you can't control life. Life is about ups and downs, and you got to keep pushing through. He could have, and we watched the telecast, his face was shell-shocked.
Right.
It took him to realize, I got a team to coach. These guys are fighting their tails off. I still got to be back on this field and lead these guys, and he did a great job of doing that. Yes, it's going to be ugly. A lot of Jets fans are going to be extremely happy about the win, but they're going to wake up and realize Aaron Rodgers is out for the season.
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, there's no sugarcoating this, right? This was the missing piece of what you think can lead this roster to a Super Bowl. I mean, that's what they've said it. They've said they were a quarterback away the whole time. Now, if you're on this team and you're an athlete, there's no looking behind you. You have to. It's going to be a hell of a lot harder now. You got to grind out wins like we saw tonight. And I don't think it's going to be as pretty, obviously, as it would have been with Aaron Rodgers. But you got to find a way to grind out wins. Now, the quarterback conversation, it's probably not for tonight. I know Robert Saleh has already said Zach Wilson's going to play the rest of the year. I mean, let's be careful with what we buy into right now. There's a lot of emotions going on. Everyone's trying to figure everything out. It just changes the entire outlook of the team. And let's be real, that's on the coaching staff to figure out how they're going to play different now. I know it was really hard last year for them, but now they have to figure out how to do that this year.
And I know we're going to go to the numbers game in just a second, presented by Quidel. But before we do, just to put a little capper on this for right now, Willie, to your point, hey, kudos to this Jets team for what they did.
Yeah, they didn't fold.
But that's very difficult for any Jets fan to really hang their hat on right now because, let's be honest, I think a lot of Jets fans are tired of this team being the little engine that could. Yeah, and fair. With Aaron Rodgers out for the season, if indeed that's what the MRI confirms, all of a sudden the ceiling still is very difficult to reach, and the ceiling changes. So, there's a lot of positives. There's a lot of young players to be excited about. It's just very difficult, I think, for a lot of people with this organization and in the fan base to look too deep into that right now.
Yeah, because you're telling yourself, hey, well, maybe next year. And how many times have Jet fans have to say maybe next year? And listen, I think, Joe Douglas will go to work, and he'll do what he has to do. And at this point, I think the Jets are at double down type of, phase. Like, listen, Robert Saleh can't look ahead. We can because that's our job, right? And we have to be able to sell hope and sell, like, what the business of football is all about. And the reality is now that because Aaron Rodgers may be done for the season, they won't have to give up a first-round draft pick, right? That's the reality. That's the business of it, right? So now you talk about all the salary cap space you have. Now you have to go look at your options. And Joe Douglas, as a general manager, has all the free agents, all the guys that are, whether it's Colt McCoy, Gardner Minshew. So you think about guys that are out there that are veterans, guys that are on practice squads being hidden, that can be called up and they're not protected because they're on a practice squad, and you can sign them off a practice squad if you're offering them a roster. And then you have to consider maybe making a trade for somebody that has a veteran. You look at Tyrod Taylor. You look at everything that you have to try, and you look at, if I get me a above average veteran quarterback that can run a system, can Nathaniel Hackett put together a game plan and a system to suit those needs, and we can lean on his defense in that run game? Because Breece is only going to get stronger. Dalvin Cook is only going to get stronger, and now you have to win a different way. You have to win a different way. Listen, I went to an AFC championship by running the football and taking shots and having an outstanding defense. It's harder to do it in today's climate, but that's maybe the Jets' best course of action.